Hi, this is Dee at Aloha Astro, and today we're looking at a full moon on September the 20th at 7:55 Eastern Time at 28 degrees 14 minutes of Pisces. So let's take a look at the forecast for today. Full moon in Pisces, Monday, September 20, brings an intuitive knowing that goes beyond what you can intellectually analyze, as the moon in a psychic water sign opposes the sun in the discerning earth sign of Virgo, as well as action-oriented Mars in the relationship-minded sign of Libra. A quincunx aspect between the sensitive moon and thoughtful Mercury in Libra could help you to either understand the behavior of others or enables you to better express yourself to them in a way that they can understand. The extra empathy and desire for harmony in relationship is due to the moon joining spiritual Neptune, the planet that rules Pisces, during the course of the day, as well as Mercury trine to friendly Jupiter in Aquarius. Venus in Scorpio, in a tense T-square with Saturn in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus, can exacerbate trust issues or make a situation feel too restrictive and no longer mutually beneficial. If hidden things suddenly come to light, then Mercury square to Scorpio's ruler Pluto in Sirius Capricorn may make a final ending seem like the best option, but the aspects involving the full moon can support a last-ditch effort to restore harmony if everyone involved has a forgive and forget mindset and a shared plan for the future. The full moon in Pisces occurs at 7:55 p.m. Eastern Time. At midnight, the moon leaves the nebulous mutable water sign of Pisces and enters the cardinal fire sign of assertive Aries, which may turn your mood from that of peacekeeper, rescuer, martyr, or victim to leader, instigator, or warrior. If the full moon in Pisces makes you realize that letting go and moving on from anyone or anything is what you need to do, then the full moon entering the I Am fire sign of Aries helps you do so without regrets. The grand trine of Sun, Mars, Saturn, and the North Node, emphasizing karmic accountability, will motivate you to try everything you can think of before making a final decision so you can be certain that you did all you could. So that's the forecast, and let's take a look now at how the planets look. And you can see here we've got the moon at 28 degrees 14 minutes opposing the sun at 28:14. There's that Virgo Pisces opposition, and Virgo is that earth sign that is Mercury ruled, and it analyzes, it observes, it discerns, it sorts and prioritizes, and then it utilizes and it eliminates what it does not need. And the Pisces energy does not look at the smaller details the way the Virgo energy does. It is about zero boundaries and being able to merge with the all that is. So we have diffusion over here, and here we have the discernment on the opposite side. And we have the moon joining Neptune today. By the time we get to the full moon, it is coming out of a conjunction, but during most of the daytime, these two planets are hanging out together, really emphasizing that Pisces energy, because Neptune does have rulership over the sign of Pisces. So it feels incredibly Piscean today, particularly the intuition, where you may get sudden flashes of insight and clarity because that intuition is supporting Mercury in Libra, and Libra is a cardinal air sign that is very precision-oriented, design-oriented, sometimes will debate both sides of something in order to determine who's right or what's right, and compares, but also seeks the harmony or compatibility between people, or looks for the win-win in relationships. How can harmony or peace be achieved? How can compromise be achieved? So here's that seeking of some compromise, and then the wanting to remain friends or work out the best possible solution, look toward the future together, comes from this trine between Mercury in Libra and Jupiter in Aquarius. Then we have this grand trine that I mentioned at the end of the forecast, where that North Node in Gemini gives us opportunities or choices of different paths. And we have the Sun in a rather practical sign. Mars wants to take some sort of definitive action or decision, and it may involve other people. Then we have Saturn, which is about duty, responsibility, authority, limitations and restrictions. It's a very serious planet. It's a very foundational planet, and it's in Aquarius, which, again, future-oriented, also group-oriented. So you understand that any action that you take, any decision that you make now, it can come back to haunt you, or it's going to be a platform upon which other things are built. So you're taking your choices very seriously before you make up your mind and perhaps say yay or nay to somebody or to any larger group or organization. It doesn't have to be individual or romantic, but there can be a parting of the ways, or just a realization that, oh wow, this is really real, and it may not be ideal or perfect, and I may have to work through things or manage as best I can and adapt and adjust under the mutable energy of both the Sun and the Moon. But in some ways, there may be final endings for many people, because we have this T-square here with the planet of change in Taurus and Venus, pleasure, desire, affections in Scorpio, and Saturn. So something may come to an ultimatum, or may just feel as though it's not going further, or it can't go further unless somebody or something changes. And then we have some resistance in this square here between Mercury in Libra and Pluto in Capricorn, and Pluto can be rather controlling at times. So we have fear also associated with Pluto, and if there are issues of control, jealousy, manipulation, or people going after things for the wrong reasons, and the other party becomes aware of any of that, then there can be a break because of that tension there in that square as well. We've got a loose kite going on in here with Saturn, the North Node, the Moon, Neptune, and it taps in kind of, it's just a little skewed here with Mars and the North Node. So again, it points to an understanding of you're going to try to do everything that you can do. When you've got a kite, the energy of the kite pulls the grand trine toward the peak of the kite, where we find the Moon and Neptune. And there's a desire to rescue, heal, save, uplift. But there's also the understanding that sometimes there has to be a letting go or a moving on. And sometimes, what is, and there simply has to be acceptance and a letting go and moving on. I also feel like the combination of these energies here with a fiery Mars, but it's there in air, and it's in a relationship-oriented sign. And then we have the Sun in a sign that wants to fix problems. But opposing the Moon and Neptune, maybe not everybody wants fixing, or not everything is salvageable, or maybe things happen for reasons beyond which we can see, which is also very much about Pisces energy. It rules the 12th house, which is the house of the dream state, the subconscious, other planes of existence, higher powers, where maybe we don't fully understand, or we can't really know all that there is to know, but we still can connect with a sense of the divine or the more spiritual side of life, and we attempt to intuit and understand something that might be bigger than us. And I feel that right now when I look at the world and the news and everything going on just today, it just makes me ask why, why the thought that some of the most beautiful ancient redwood trees right now are under threat of being lost to us forever. And beautiful young girl, we've been following the news of her for days and learning that she is dead. Why do things that just seem so painful happen and we don't have control over everything? Even this square here between Mercury and Pluto, and the Scorpio overtones, which is ruled by Pluto with Venus, we want to have some control or some power, but it feels like we're just raging against something that we don't have full control over. Sometimes there are unpredictable things. Sometimes things break. Sometimes relationships don't work. Sometimes people are hateful. And we just live in a world of polarity. And yet we have, at any given time, even when we have challenging aspects like that T-square and that square and the opposition of Sun and Moon right now, we still have many blessings in the transits at the moment, such as the Grand Trine and a very lovely trine between Mercury and Jupiter, that there are changes that are for the better that are also going on, and that people can get along better potentially than they are right now. So even if things in your own life right now seem inexplicable or wrong somehow, or you're going through a lot of changes that are very challenging, know that there are some favorable patterns going on as well, and turn your attention toward what you want to be seeing in your future and keep your mind on higher things as you move forward, even though we are in very stressful times. And sometimes too, the hard stuff, if we go through it, it makes us more compassionate toward others when they are going through hard times. So even the hard stuff has its merit, its value. And let's take a look at the Sabian symbol. Light breaking into many colors through a prism. We round up to 29 degrees. Keynote, the analytical power of the mind necessary for the formulation of life processes in their many aspects. Cycles of existence begin in unity and end in what I have called multiunity. At the stage of consummation, the many individual differences are totaled. They constitute a sum. Within that sum, a unified total, the inevitability of the future process of differentiation is implied, because every cycle leaves a mass of waste products, slowly returning to the unconscious state of chemical matter of humus. I was going to say hummus. What the symbol tells us is that unity will always break again into multiplicity. The prism is always there. There is no absolute unity. If anything could be called absolute, it is the relationship between the one and the many. This fourth stage symbol of the concluding fivefold sequence of phases points to the fundamental type of operation in all modes of existence. The most beautiful and seemingly everlasting experience of unity will in time be superseded by the need to attend to a multiplicity of details. Existence implies differentiation. I don't know if it's because it's rather late and I'm reading this, or if this is just one of the more deep and profound, multi-layered Sabian symbols, but there's a lot of food for thought there, and we have a lot of the Pisces symbolism there in the idea of unity or the one. The discernment, of course, the analytical power comes from the opposing energy of Virgo, and within every sign, its opposing sign is always there, kind of in the background. So this one thing is interesting. The prism is always there. And I really don't know how to apply that, but this is what just jumps out at me, that there's always going to be something that's going to be breaking apart the light, that single light, into multiple pieces. Differentiation. Within the Pisces energy at the full moon, there can be, and I don't know why this pop-up likes to keep popping up, there is the sea of just infinite potential and possibilities within that 12th house and the Pisces energy. And it is the Virgo energy opposite where we begin to examine everything in detail out of all the potentials and possibilities. But in any case, this is an interesting Sabian symbol and worth meditating upon. And before I read the Sabian symbol for the day, the picture I chose to represent the full moon energies happens to have a rainbow in it. And I picked it for the water symbolism, but also we're moving on into that fire energy of Aries as we come out of the 20th and move into the 21st. Right at midnight, that moon changes over, but it's still carrying the full moon intensity where we focus on ourselves and the direction in which we are headed. And the understanding that we have to be self-aware and self-responsible. After all the connection we feel to everybody else and everything as we're sitting in the Pisces energy, then it still distills down to us individually and what we have to choose or do for ourselves and the ramifications, what we live with after we make those choices or decisions. But here's that breaking apart of the light into the rainbow that's mentioned in the Sabian symbol, coincidentally. So you have a wonderful time as you are contemplating this full moon energy in your own chart. And stay safe and healthy and happy until I'm back again in 2 weeks at the next new moon. Take care.